Vince right here. I just recorded 3 top list and my vocals, I don't know, I feel congested. But anyways, we're going to make this quick. So, I don't even know if it's going to be quick, to be honest. It could be an hour, 2 hours, but I don't really have much to add. But other than that, yeah, top webtoons of 2024, I guess. And listen, I don't even know if I would count these as top webtoons. These are just top experiences or webtoons that I experienced or whatever. I just had to put one here. You know, this is not really much of a big effort when it comes down to top 10 webtoons or anything like that. But here we are. And I'm just going to talk about quickly, like, okay, what was my top 10? Was it... And listen, I didn't really had... I'm going to be honest. I didn't had a good year with webtoons specifically. I probably had a very hard time. I got terminated again for reading webtoons again for you guys. But I want this channel, especially in the future, to be less focused on webtoons. I'm just going to be real with you. And that's nothing against like webtoons or anything like that. Listen, there's a reason why I call myself Vince Wright 2.0. My first channel was terminated. And from what? Webtoons. So at this point, I don't even know how I feel. 5 years doing this, like, are you serious? But here I am. But also, this could be the last time I could be doing this. I could be doing this like top 10 webtoons of 2024. You're probably not going to see it 2025. But at the same time, who knows? I could tell you what they are, like review it, and let me tell you about this webtoon that I've seen. Since I'm not going to be held accountable for like bookmarking or like, hey, I have to save this webtoon. Maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I can just review it, read it the way I want to read it, experience it, and talk about it. And that's it. So, I don't know. My brain's all over the place, especially making this video. And especially how I already finished our top 10s, which kind of like, really, I put a lot of my energy in. So, yeah, here I am. Top webtoons of 2024. Let's get this over with. Top 10. Don't read. So this one, Don't Read This, as it's called, is it's almost like a horror, mysterious, like webtoon in a sense. And I really enjoyed that aspect alone, especially the mystery. I remember doing the intro, and I'm like, don't read this. Don't tell me what to do. And I read it. And man, it goes places. It's scary. It has some emotions of, anxiety and despair in it. And it's kind of a very, very interesting read. And I want to say this. Usually, and I forgot to say this in the beginning, these are top webtoons that I read. These are not top romance webtoons. So keep that in mind. Notice the change, right? It's like where's the... So you're not going to really expect boyfriends or any other major romance webtoons in this. Or maybe you might. You never know. We're just early in the list. But yeah, Don't Read This was kind of like a very interesting, mysterious, and kind of like horror webtoon that adds some supernatural elements and some wall-breaking elements, especially how the main character, which is this simple like animation style to it, just stares at you. You know what I mean? It's like there's certain aspects where it's creepy, but I kind of like it for that aspect of what it gives, of what's creepy within the story itself. So it's a pretty unique series of what it does. It plays around just the idea of fear, anxiety alone, where it's like, okay, I don't know where this is leading to, but we're about to look through it, and good thing I had a fun time reading it as well. Number 9. Love Succubus or Succubus. Succubus? Okay, Succubus. Okay, I gotta be careful when I say that. I don't want to summon one, okay, at the moment. This is not a good time for it. But, yeah, Love Succubus. I'm not gonna tell you what a succubus is. It's basically a demon. But I got a human character of her in this one, which is more, just relatable and heartwarming itself. Relatable in a human sense. But really, though, like, she is a whole different person once you see her demon side. But once you see her, like, real life side, she wants to be loved. She wants someone. And that someone was, like, was probably taken away or attacked by some other people. The thing is that the art style and everything, the story is unique, but also the art style it really does remind me of Jet Set Radio in a sense. And also, like, I remember playing Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is kind of like a love letter to Jet Set Radio. and it just reminds me of it. Just the animation itself, like it does sort of feels like I'm reading Jet Set Radio through this particular series. Like it has that street form art aesthetic to it, and I kind of enjoy for what it gives through that alone. Other than that, yeah, this the action is pretty cool, and also just different aspects of like what the story brings. It is such a different type of webtoon that is unique to me when I first read it. So yeah, for that alone, it really does deserve the point. Number 8 goes to Our Walk Home. What a heartwarming series. By the way, I'm basically just, I don't really have notes or analysis notes of these. I have a notes of like what webtoons these are, but I don't really have a note of like what makes them unique. This is all from my head and from my experience alone. This is no different from other BLs that I read, except for like the realism and also the art, just the realistic aspect of these, and the idea of like how two schools going at each other is kind of dumb. You know what I mean? Like the whole school war that it gives, like you can tell these characters have no idea what that is supposed to mean or anything. And I guess it's no different than other webtoons or other manhwas, but it has this unique just aesthetic to it, this unique like approach of just meeting each other and also befriending and falling in love. It's heartwarming in that sense alone, and I kind of enjoy that. It's one of the most unique BLs that I've seen so far, so it deserves to be in this list. Number 7, Suit to Armor. So this season of Suit to Armor has been crazy. The aftermath of that season, man, was something that is life changing for Modius. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's definitely has reached to that point. It's going to the deep end. You see some horrific things going on, and the history behind Lucia was something that is also unique as well. It's like, well, they're going places with this particular series where it's like it's dark and meaningful in the ways, but it does it very, very well compared to the other seasons. And for this one, it just does it differently into a darker approach, and I kind of really applaud for that of its braveness, and also still keeping that fairy tale aesthetic throughout all the series, and still keeping like what means what love means for each other, for specifically Modius and Lucia, and also just the relationship of just like the sisterhood between Christia and as well as Lucia, and also like Baynard, as especially Norix going crazy. It's developing somewhere, and I don't know where to go, but I love that, where it's just unpredictable and it goes its own way in its own pace. So this season has been unique. Next up for number 6 is Eternal Nocturnal. It was sad because I didn't finish this. I wanted to finish the series, but it left me wondering, like, man, should I still put it in the list? Yeah, you know what? It kind of deserves it to be in the list itself for, just how it ended and how it's really going about, or basically close to the end, because I haven't seen the end yet. But overall, the season has been pretty well. It's like, it's been crazy, especially the reveal of, Day's father, and also just like the whole thing about with Cherry is kind of nuts, but all that is just bringing much more drama and tension in the series. So it does that aspect very well, and pretty much the drama is still up in the air of what it could be, especially how I haven't seen the rest of the episodes yet. But Eternal Nocturnal has always been an enjoyable read for me. I never had no problems actually reading it, and pretty much just appreciating the story and the friendship that it holds together of just its characters, and also its like tension. So for that alone, I really enjoyed it, and some shocking moments too. Stuff that is like, whoa, no way, that's messed up. You know what I mean? Anyways, moving on. Number 5, Mafia Nanny. The Mafia Nanny itself, I don't know what it's based in. It's such a weird like is this really come on now? But it's also just a crazy like storyline that I feel like you have this lady that is the nanny that is kind of almost being tested, like either from the guy or just from the child as well. But at some point becomes somewhat a big part of the family, and I really enjoyed that, especially its action scenes and also protecting the child, and also just the child following his ways and what he wants to be, even though he's too young to understand that. Like it seems like this is just a perfect mix of like what is it that makes it heartwarming, but also makes it just cute, even though it's in some places could be intimidating, especially from the man himself. But overall, I had a good time with the Mafia Nanny. It was a thrill. It was some action, just impossible style scenes where it brought me into different places of what the show can do. But other than that, yeah, the Mafia Nanny, pretty good read. Next up for number 4, Candied Hearts. The art style in this one is so unique. It sort of is just reminiscent to its predecessor of from the writer's previous EP, which is Sass with Bass or Brass with a Sass, Brass and Sass, something like with those letterings. But yeah, this is sort of like another just this series to it, and it did it pretty well. I like how just how cute the art is and how crazy the characters can be. How sporadic, like start a fire from your apartment because you too many outlets. That's nuts. And the stress of college life, like it made me appreciate not to be in that life anymore. But it also I appreciate how it just goes about of just how crazy it gets through some of these situations. Like does this guy love you? Like what's up with this girl? Why are they trying? Like are you really, is she really paying for all you guys? Like is she doing a big favor for something? Like you felt like there is some return from it. You like, is there some kind of return that we're gonna do for you for giving us a free house? As the main lady here, and as you see her crying, like it's there's something going on with these characters where like you see them going through it, but you don't know what is it that they're willing to pay for it. You know what I mean? The Candy Hearts is such an interesting series for the different aspects of love and also college life as well. Just reality of what it showcased and how far it's willing to go. Anyways, number 3, and this one is just the regular usual, the ones that you probably know that you've seen me read a lot. It's Down to Earth. I still to this day, I feel like I've been reading Down to Earth for decades at this point, almost half a decade, and to this day, I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed the reads. The fact that I know every character, the fact that I know their past stories and what they're going through, and know Kate enough, and the habit of me knowing Down to Earth, it's always one of my most favorite reads and stuff that I look forward to read whenever I go start doing these reads for every weekend, which is Down to Earth has always been my favorite because I always want to know what's going on with the characters. They just look attractive the way, they're drawn and also how they're looked at, and you just see this lifestyle that they're living in, like it's sort of developing because the relationship is developing. It's like I've been yelling from the rooftops of just Cade and Zeta finally recognizing each other as a couple instead of just being softy about it. And it just never made sense why they're being soft, but finally they get to that point where they can be in love. And I get that, if that's always like a question, interesting question, especially to my friends Dustin and also Pookie. Like, what's up with what's their philosophy when it comes down to falling in love? Is it like taking things slow? Is it trying to take time to really know each other? Like, what's the lesson of really falling in love with someone? Because it's such a very even though like you can definitely see that Zeta and also and I don't know what the religious background of Pookie and Dustin in a sense, but it's so Christian how just like they fall in love, especially how now that freaking Zeta can read minds. I feel like Kate has to be very careful now. He has to be very careful for sure. But it's not even a Christian couple, but they still act like, like it's forbidden to have intercourse. It's been forbidden this and this stuff like that. And I understand you don't need to be Christian to actually, follow, to be respectful, to not be a gooner or anything like that to your lover or anything. Yet then again, I wouldn't know. I've been single for so long, so I'm the last person to ask. But at the same time, they take their time, and once that time comes, when they officially fall in love, it's worth it. It definitely it brings down all the barriers that they have for each other, and finally they can recognize each other as how it should be. Okay, definitely for sure needs to be, patient with his love, and I can see why he's patient. Like there's stories of him being with exes, past relationships, and relationships that he failed to keep, and this is just a chance for him to actually prove himself, but also be careful, but also fall in love with an alien, one that is of, pretty much has these horns developing and afraid to go out, and you see the secrets out, and it's like everything is slowly opening, and it feels like time after time is a development for like what these characters could be, and that's what make this series such a heartwarming series out of all the other times I've been reading anything on Webtoon. This has just been one of my favorites. So for that alone, I really do enjoy Down to Earth. I really enjoyed it. And I'm so, I appreciate and glad that, we're, especially seeing this from an early young time before, Pookie met Dustin. Like, this is a moment where I could appreciate that this is a development compared to last time to now. For number two, To the Stars and Back. This ended it very well. Not the ending that I expected, but this would be the year of the series having their finale. And it did it pretty well enough where I feel like it didn't need to be perfect, but it just needs to be good enough for it to basically, like, hey, I think time has come, and it did come. So the way they ended was pretty unique, and it was nonchalant. I feel like it was nonchalant, and it did it pretty well. Where you know what, these two were happy, and they're happy where they are. I didn't bring notes to anything that I talk about here, so whatever I'm saying right now, all I can tell you is that when it ended, I think my mind process ended because I don't need to remember what's going on. But man, what a roller coaster of emotions that these two has been through. Boshan and Kangdae, and also where they grew up, and also how they develop from each other and how they fall in love was a heartwarming and unique experience, and kind of one of the best BLs out there that I had. There was just not much, like there was some moments where it's like, wow, this is so cute and so naughty, but overall it's love. It's like these two just seems like they're in the place that they want to be for each other. And it's something more within the relationship that I probably couldn't see. But as of now, like, Panglow just did a very good job of actually wrapping this up all together, where they have like the characters brought with them, and then a good old, like, heartwarming ending through all of this. And when it ended, it was like, yeah, I guess, for some series like this that's short, it's short enough for me to actually read it through, without really any hard thinking at all. But other than that, yeah, that's the end of To the Stars and Back. Anyways, for number one, basically goes to Operation True Love. I really do enjoy True Love. I never thought the romances would be in the top list, but here it is. That's kind of like usually what I read because you guys asked for it. And Operation True Love, I love the development. I love the fact that they are now adults. We get through that timeline and seeing where they are now, it's just heartwarming. I'm like, yes, finally we're here. We finally get to see where they've been. And I'm looking forward to more of that. And I guess this is just a moment of adulthood where they're at in their life, where, now things are different. And I feel like this is a better time to actually read Operation True Love more than ever. And, there's still some questions that need to be answered. There's still some stuff surrounding the relationship. Like, is it, are they going to get married or something? Like, I'm waiting for that to happen. But, that's why I'm looking forward to this, because it's still ongoing. Anyways, I didn't really do much justice for this list. I don't know if I felt bad of doing this at all, making it nonchalant in ways. But to be honest, like, it's, Webtoons were something in the past, but not now. And I feel like a lot of that is going to change later on. I don't know if you can tell by my tone, but I feel like it's just not the same. It's not hitting the same as it used to. And I think it's best to just leave it in the past and just move on. Especially for me, as I'm getting older, I can't really get stuck with all this. Sometimes you have to, it's best to actually live those aspects in Webtoon, but actually have a real life that actually showcase that. You know what I mean? Instead of just living through the pages, why not just live it in real life? I guess this is my chance of me just flying away and and just saying goodbye. And it's been a good it's been a good amount of years of me reading these webtoons, and these are webtoons that I remember, that I seen the aspects and the predecessor that they've been to. But other than that, you kind of have to move on, And I'm gonna miss that aspect of webtoon that I miss it so much. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. I'll see you when I see you. One love and a peace, and top webtoons of 2024. What a time, and what a quick year has it been for this. I wish I could read a lot of them, but then again, I'm not the webtoon guy that I used to. But I'll see what else there's so many other things that you could be. Don't need to be this one aspect. One love and a peace, and God bless.